You can follow us on Instagram and Facebook. Facebook, we are YBM Chat Podcast. Instagram at YBM Chat. You can listen to us on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts at YBM Chat.
Hey, it's Dashia D.
Hey, it's Cassondra.
Hey, it's Tre'Dub.
Girl, LadiiNova.
And we are
YBM Chat.
Young Black Millennials offering you a fresh new take you didn't know you needed.
So, a great big boy to Hubert Davis. That name is just, I don't even like that. He became the new coach at UNC for the Tar Heels, and he felt that it was needed to let everybody know that he was proud of his white wife. We don't even know why he put that out there. It's not like, she helped him get there and was like, I'm proud of my wife for standing by my side and blah, blah, blah. He literally came out of the blue and just said, I'm proud of my white wife. Okay. And she did what? Like, were you trying to jump?
Go ahead.
I'm gonna say, was he trying to jump ahead before people said something?
That's what I was about to say.
Because nobody cares. And then you open that gate, y'all. It's the pictures for me because they said that she looked like this white male actor. You know him when you see him.
Oh my God.
If you've seen Step Brothers, it's the part where you just kept saying, "Pow!" That guy. That's what I know him from. So if you know Step Brothers movie and him, that's what they said his wife looked like. So you open the gate for them to talk trash about her because that's all anybody cares about.
I feel like most people assume that people who become successful in sports marry people who are non-Black when they're Black. Is that not an assumption? I feel like it's more of a surprise when they're Black. And you're like, oh, okay. That's just like when Obama, I know he's not in sports, but he is someone who's a successful Black man. I'm pretty sure when people saw Michelle, they were like, oh, that's a pleasant surprise. Not only is she Black, but she's like chocolate Black. So she's not even like biracial or anything. They're like, oh, okay, we see you, Barack. Like, I just feel like that's a thing we all assume. I don't think it needs to be said. And why does it have to be said during your speech saying that you're one? I think you said he was one of he's like the fourth or third Black male coach, period.
But like that division or something. I'm like, that's great. But we didn't need to hear about your wife because this ain't her moment. I don't think nobody really cared if you was married anyways. Your name is Hubert. I'm still not going to get off that.
Oh, Lord.
You grew up with that name, Hubert. That's ugly. But in sad news, we did have to say goodbye to one of Rough Riders' own, DMX. It was reported officially now from news sites, not fans and family members that want to get the news out first, news sites, that he is no longer with us at the age of 50. So prayers out to his family, all of his kids he's raised, and don't start the BS about him and drugs and all that and trying to say what money does and all that, because it doesn't matter. Somebody said that, like, well, I was told, somebody made that post of, oh, people get money and don't know what to do with it and they make stupid decisions. It's like, people who don't have money find a way to get it, to be on drugs and make that. It doesn't matter what you have or don't have. If you want something, you're going to go get it.
He did an interview saying that when he was 13, I want to say, and he was hustling or whatever, a mentor of his, he hadn't smoked or drank anything up until that point. The mentor gave him a blunt and he thought it was just weed. Well, it was laced with crack. And with that type of drug, it becomes addictive from the first time. And so since then, he's been battling with that. So I mean, yeah, money can give you resources to have it at your fingertips like that. But at the end of the day, I think it comes down to being aware of your kids and who they're around. And then when you're struggling, to get help. I mean, I don't know.
I just say it's sad because it was clear he was trying to come back. Like, he did GQ magazine photo shoot. That was really nice. He was trying to come up with new music. So I don't know what may have triggered him to do it again when he was doing well. We aren't there. So I'm not going to just downplay this man like, oh, he was just another cokehead or something like that, because that would be very wrong. That's not fair.
Y'all may have heard about Rickey Smiley's nephew passed away. So I'll give you all the whole backstory about it. A few weeks ago, Rickey Smiley was saying how like he raised his Dashia. How many kids did he have? You said 3 biological sons, and then he took on somebody else.
He has he has 2 biological sons. And then he has 2 daughters that he raised as his own when he was with their mothers.
Okay. I know he I only said men because he like was raising men like how he was raised, but he was saying like pretty much all throughout his life he would take on like neighbors and nephews and stuff, you know, males, to be a male role model for them. Yeah. Well, his nephew, he brought him on just like he brought everybody else into his house. And he was, you know, trying to be that role model for them because he said his uncle and his granddad was a role model to him to make him the man he is today. Well, his nephew, he said that he wasn't really doing right at the house, like, you know, kind of smoking weed, you know, doing teenagers do, you know, smoking weed, drinking, not really going to class, not doing what he's supposed to do. And he said he kicked him out. So they had, you know, kind of a back and forth thing. Well, he said recently they kind of like rekindled their relationship, and he was like, look, I have this job opportunity for you. If you want to, and he was from Birmingham, Alabama. So he was from Birmingham, Alabama, and Rickey Smiley said, look, I have this job lined up for you in Miami. I'll give you money for everything. I mean, I'll buy you a used car. I'll pay for your apartment. I'll give you whatever you need. So the guy, his house burned down a while back, and he lost like all his documents, his social and his, you know, driver's license, just anything you need to do anything. So Rickey Smiley was like, you know, I'll give you the money to get all your documents back, to fly you out there. Like, I'll do everything. All you have to do is cut your dreads. And at first he was like, you know, no, I'm not going to do that. You know, like, no, that happened. And then all you heard after that was he overdosed on drugs and then passed away. And it was so sad because it just was like, well, did he, you know, commit suicide because, you know, he was going through this and then his uncle, you know, kind of just cheated him out of a deal? Or was it like he just took medicines to numb the pain and then it just so happened he took, you know, bad medicines and passed away? Well, his sister came on Facebook and did this whole video about blaming Rickey Smiley. She was like, you're the reason my brother is not here anymore. You know, she was like, my brother committed suicide and it's your fault. He's not here. She was like, you know, you shouldn't have said that to him. If he didn't want to cut his hair, so what? Let him go to this job. Let him do what he wanted to do. What Rickey Smiley was saying is, you representing me and my name was on that. So no, I'm not going to let you go all the way down to Miami looking all kind of way. It's not happening. So Rickey Smiley came back on Facebook and did a response video with so many text messages, so many receipts. On top of all that, he had other men that he raised come on the video saying he treated us the exact same way he treated him, and we turned out so successful. And in the video, it just was kind of shocking because you see at the end where the guy says, all right, I'll get my hair cut. Don't worry about it. You know, I got my hair appointment set up. Yeah. And then this happened. So it was almost like, why? You know, like what happened? When I first heard it, I was like, that's ridiculous. Why would you tell somebody, you know what I'm saying? Like, if that's what he wants to do, if he wants to keep his hair, if he's that strong about it, just compromise and say whatever. But what I didn't know is, I didn't know Rickey Smiley had dreads too. And he said that he was raising these boys just like his grandparent or grandfather and uncle raised him, because they told him, you cut your dreads, you'll excel in life. And he said that's what he did. And once he cut his dreads, he started getting endorsement deals and people started noticing him. And now he's this big star that he is today. So I want to know what y'all take is on that entire situation, from cutting the hair to, you know, his opinion, to the sister even coming online, like everything.
The only thing I didn't agree with Rickey was the cold cutting the hair thing. I just feel like he could have went about it a whole different way. Like the difference between when Rickey was coming up and now in this generation is people are more accepting of having African Americans in their business, in their offices. So it's like Rickey Smiley came up during the time where most like our parents came up. So it's like, of course, if you had dreads, he wasn't going to hire your ass back then. Now it's like, you know, you have Black women with natural hair as CEOs. You know, I just felt like he should have went about it a different way, like given alternatives. Hey, I'll even take you to a stylist who can style up your dreads, and then you can go in this interview, and you know you can kind of like, you know, kind of navigate your own self through this whole professional experience or whatever the case is. Now, I don't know the nephew's like education. I don't know if he only has like a GED or whatever, because I know Rickey had kicked him out at some point. So I don't know where his education lies, because it's like, if you only come into a job interview with nothing more than a high school diploma and you don't have the appearance to show behind it, ain't nobody gonna hire you. And that's just the reality of it. You know, so it's like, I feel like at some point you do have to at least look the part and know how to talk to these people, know how to look them in the eye, have a conversation to be successful. Again, I don't agree about the whole changing or cutting your hair, because I feel like we're now in a generation where people are more accepting of tattoos. People are more accepting of like different color hair. Like, I just feel like he should have went about it a totally different way. That's the only thing I disagree with. Now, other than that, I don't think that that is his fault. I don't think that's Rickey Smiley's fault at all, because the same way he came back to him and told him he needed help, he could have used that same energy and put in towards working at Burger King or something like that. You know, of course, you don't want nobody to like, you know, take their own life and stuff like that. I just think that the blame shouldn't have been on Rickey, in my opinion. So that's how I feel about it.
I mean, I agree with Trey. I don't think that if someone completes suicide, that's not any person's fault, not even that person necessarily. Like, they just weren't able to get help in the amount of time that they needed it. As far as Rickey having other men come on and say, hey, he raised me this way and I made it, I think that's the equivalent of Trump saying, or whoever the politician was that said, my dad gave me a small loan of buttloads of thousands of dollars kind of thing, and this is what I did with it. Every person is different. When you're a parent, I'm not a parent, but I've heard when you're a parent, you may have to do different techniques with different children. It's the same thing. Rickey is parenting based on his grandfather. That would mean that this child is received, like, Rickey's grandfather is 4 or 5 generations away from said nephew.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It is not the 70s, 80s, 90s. It is 2021. And as Trey stated, we are in a place where people can wear their natural hair in its natural state and go to work. I felt like there could have been some kind of compromise. I understand that he was giving him on a platter a better life. But at the end of the day, that's a part of his identity.
Yeah.
I don't understand why they couldn't compromise and say, hey, let's go get it done. So it's not freeform dreads for now.
Exactly.
You could get them twisted and looking more presentable, so that you can get in the door of said job. But I don't know. I just feel like certain parents, because I've worked with middle schoolers now, and some of them are being raised by grandparents who are similar. They're like 4 or 5 generations away from them. And they'll call me like, well, you need to tell her that this is how, and I'm like, ma'am, in the 70s, this child is 12. Things have changed quite a bit. So it's like, at some point you have to adjust.
Yeah.
And also, if he completed suicide, that tells me that he's been struggling for a very long time mentally.
Definitely.
Who else has been checking on him? Why are y'all putting all of the heat on Rickey when y'all are there to see him 24/7?
Okay, and that's another thing I was going to mention, because that same sister that felt some type
Make
of way.
that make sense.
Where were you at during this time? Where he was
this whole time.
And again, that's not their responsibility.
You know?
Again, that's not their responsibility, but at the end of the day, no person wakes up all of a sudden and chooses to take their life. They have to go through a lot of mental acrobatics before they get to that point.
And I don't even know if
so,
that's what he was trying to do, because in the video, both Rickey and the sister said he took bad drugs, you know? So I don't even think that was his intention. You know, I think it just unfortunately happened. So, and then Rickey even said, like, what y'all mad at me for? If you want to be mad at anybody, be mad at the guy that sold him the bad drugs. You know what I'm saying? I felt like the sister was just trying to place blame on something that didn't even have to have a pinpoint. Yeah.
Jesus.
So this is what I was going to say. So, yeah, times have changed, but it's still taking a long time. I remember when I was in college. So like 2013, 2014, doing ROTC, where they was putting out laws of where you couldn't have dreads, you didn't want you to have natural hair, and for a long time, for a good minute, they fought that off. So it's like, yeah, it was in the past, but it was still here. That was literally like some years ago when that happened. I had people who went and cut their hair because they said they could not have dreads and their dreads were neat. They kept it retwisted and all that. So it has changed, but not 100% has it changed. So I do agree with the fact that they could have had a conversation to talk about him, retwisting them, having them look more decent. If they were all the way down his back, I'm not telling nobody what to do with their hair, but if he was just like, cut it to maybe this length to get it retwisted, you can still keep them, but, let's change up the appearance just a little bit. That would have been fine. To ask him to cut it completely is drastic. Again, if they were in free form, I would say, yeah, my personal choice. I'm not a fan of free form. That's just me. I don't know about jobs because I'm not hiring nobody. I'm just an outsider. Yeah. As far as Rickey's age, I'm at an impasse because I live with somebody that's around Rickey's age or older. My father's 63. And am I still trying to teach him stuff that's different now? Both him and my mama? Yes, I am. But where am I currently staying? I'm grown staying with them. I have to abide by their rules. Mm-hmm. That's just that. Some people have to realize that. So did the other nephews probably abide by his rules to have the same things awarded? Maybe, maybe not. They could have still struggled along the way. That part is not put out there. But he's offered him apartment, a car, a job. I believe like a 6-figure job. It's like, yes, all the
guaranteed a 6-figure job.
All the stuff was out there. There's nothing wrong with that. And again, they could have, I believe he said that they had a conversation through text about his hair, and that stuff may have felt like it was settled. It was something within the nephew that was still bothering him. So no, I'm not going to put all of that on Rickey. I'm not going to say, oh, he shouldn't have told him not to do this, he shouldn't have to do that. People are different. Everybody, once you get to a certain age, we haven't gotten there yet. None of us. We're all in our 20s. By the time we hit our 70s, we're going to be doing the exact same thing, whether we like it or not. Because there's stuff that this generation of kids is doing that we didn't dare to do. These 4 and 5 years old cussing. Now, oh my God, that's so cute. We couldn't even dare to try that at 4 and 5. Just to be out here singing songs with the B word and MF, and everybody just looking, oh, that's funny. No. Nothing funny about it at all. So we haven't gotten to that point yet of saying, oh, well, we wouldn't do with our kids at 60 and 70 years old, because we ain't there yet. We're striving to get there. Again, this was his rules. This was his stipulations. If he said he didn't want to do it, okay, maybe he would have found him something else that would accommodate for how his hair was or his appearance. Maybe, maybe not. Again, we don't know the whole conversation, but the sister is wrong for pinpointing just him. I feel like for that realm of family and his celebrity status, I feel like people do that because it's a celebrity, and just to be like, oh, y'all think he's this type of man, and that's not him at all, because look at what he caused to happen to my brother. And you'll get people that's like us looking at it online, and it's like, they'll start pinpointing stuff. Oh, you only got enough money to get him a used car. Why you can't give him a brand new car? Why you can't do this? It's like, it's just so much within it. It's like, y'all, how much more do y'all want one person to do for someone that was already struggling years and years and years before. Like I said, where was everybody else at? Were y'all pointing him to counselors? Were y'all sitting down and talking to him? He lost his house. Where was he staying after that? Have y'all went and just tried to talk to him as a human being and not constantly tell people, you need to get off them drugs, you need to stop doing this, you need to calm down, you need to stop hanging with these people? Repeating that to somebody, I'm going to say, because it's like me, don't repeat that stuff to me. Let me figure it out on my own, because I'm rebellious. I'm gonna do the exact opposite of what you tell me to do. You need to stop all that cussing and smoking.
I feel like some of that, though, I don't know. I feel like that whole mindset of like, I don't know how to phrase it, but like my house, not my house, my rules, but basically don't do as I do, do as I say kind of mentality. I feel like that's a Southern Black thing, or maybe a Southern people of color thing, because there are other people up north, west, whatever, who, of course, they have their rules and regulations of how they choose to parent or whatever certain things, be in the house at a certain time. But I feel like we are the only culture where this is what I said and that's it. Like it, don't like it, I don't give a damn. I don't like that, because things like that happen. Again, it's not his fault. But at the end of the day, at what point do you choose to say, okay, why am I so hell-bent, specifically to this situation, why am I so hell-bent on having this person cut their hair? Is there proof other than myself? Because again, he compared it to himself having dreads. Again, Rickey Smiley started to get fame, in the early 2000s?
Yeah.
That's 20 plus years ago.
But I guess also what he's saying is, and it's not even like, I don't like how you look, you need to cut your dreads, you know? He's saying, for this position, these are my people. And I'm not saying it's right, but for him, he's saying, I'm of this status. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're not going to go down there. You representing me. You're not going down there looking all kind of way. You know what I'm saying? And so I don't think he thought about even, well, let me get him to clean it. And you're right. He shouldn't have said, cut it. But if all he has is his own experience to look after, that, and in that video, he said multiple times, I told these other boys what to do, how to do it, when to do it, where to do it. And they're so successful. I guess in his mind, it's just like, just do what I say and you'll be successful. Cut your hair, go get this job, you'll be successful.
And like I said, this nephew is a completely different person than the other people that he dealt with.
And I understand that. But okay, so as far as the don't do what I do, do as I say, I don't think that's what he was doing. I feel like that's stuff people do for much younger kids, like 10 and all the other stuff in which they still had feelings. Again, the whole of like, if you living with me, that's that. Hell, I'm 25. I had a house right now, and my sister or my cousin or somebody come stay with me and be like, oh, I'm gonna do this, you can't tell me. Yes, I can, because I'm the one paying the bills. This is my mortgage. You either like that I say you can't do this in here, or you're gonna have to find someplace else to stay. Now, I'm doing you a favor of letting you be here. Yes, because again, I don't know if that young man stayed with Rickey Smiley after his house burned down, or how many people stayed with him to whatever age. It's just the simple fact of, you're in my house. I'm doing you a favor, where most people will be like, oh, you 20 plus? I don't even know why you slept under your mom and daddy roof. Because you should have your own by now. That's what some Black families think. Oh, by the time you hit 18, out on the streets. You grown, you got it. It is what it is. I'll say it for myself. I'm grateful that I can come back to my parents' house. Because there's a lot of people like, oh, you're not graduate high school and college? Give me my key back. Because you won't just have a key to my house to be up here laying up, not doing nothing. That don't work. That's the stipulation for this house. My daddy said it the way his father said it. If you're going to be in my house, you got to be doing something. And I feel like that'll be the same thing for me. You're not going to be living with me and just decide, I'm going to just sit here all day. I ain't going to do no dishes. I ain't going to clean up. I'm going to bring everybody over here and I'm going to just be here. No, you're not. No, you're not. You're going to have to do something.
Being productive and changing your hair is a hell of a lot different.
Now, see, no, what I was going to say on that though is like what Cassondra said. He's being represented in a certain way, so that's still him, and that's still a part of him. That's like, would you, in all honesty, would you want somebody that's got 4 lip piercings to go and represent you for what you do at any given task? Would you want somebody who has an unkempt beard or who's never done any personal hygiene?
Again, you said unkempt. That's the piece of it that we're talking about. Unkempt,
but even somebody who
you
is
look like
kempt,
you're not presentable.
But even there can be people who look presentable and they still have like 4 lip rings or like 2 different nose rings or something, or maybe a face tattoo. It can be something as small as a face tattoo over here. And for some jobs, they'll be like, yeah, so people are going to see you first, and that's just going to be disturbing. And some people won't even go as far as to put makeup on it. They'll look, well, to hell with this. I can't let my tattoo show, so I'm not going to do it.
And everyone has
still look nice.
Will. Everyone, in grad school, I applied for a job at Panera. I showed up, had a nose ring. They were like, "Oh, you have to take it out." No, thank you. And now I'm a therapist, and I have a nose ring.
That's yours. That's yours. But you had others. That's what I'm saying. Like, you went for Panera, you did other stuff, you worked for it, and people did stop seeing you for that.
I understand the argument that you have. I think it just blows my mind that Rickey Smiley has that stance when he seems to be so pro-Black. And the idea of telling a Black man, cut off your natural hair so that you can assimilate into this whitewashed world in corporate America, like that's how it feels to me. And I think being somebody who has natural hair and who goes to work in hair scarves and trying to think, do I look too Black today? I think it hits a little different. And I think that's why I'm frustrated.
I'm saying it's still hard because of age range though. Like, I don't know how.
That's what I said. They're generations away from each other.
I know, but I feel like that's what most people have to like settle and actually think, because I have to do the same thing with my daddy, my uncle. I love them to death. I have little cousins who are mixed with Filipino and they have long hair. They're boys. Their mind is like, they need to cut that. I'm like, no, they don't. That's their heritage. Why do they need? I have a conversation with them. I'm like, yeah, you may not agree, but that's their lineage. They have long hair. They're children. What do they need to cut it for? If they decide to cut it when they get older, cool. Their parents ain't saying nothing. Why are you confused? Where are your children? Does your son have hair? No, he doesn't. Was there a point my brother did have hair? Yes, it was. He was young, but he had it. And then I progressed to go to my own. I'm like, so if I have a little boy and he has long hair, what are you going to do? Cut it? Because if you do, you can guarantee you won't be seeing us for a long time because I didn't give you permission to do that. I have those, I can sit down and have those conversations, let them know, yes, things have changed. And it can be a hard conversation because of time, and they might resort back to their past days and how things were. And I have to understand where they're coming from, and they have to understand where I'm coming from. And those are my parents. But I'm not going to just sit right here and just tell them, oh, it's a new world. What you did ain't here no more. Yes, it is. It is still here. Whether we like it or not, it's still here. We don't like everything older people say, but when they say it, it's a point to it. But we still have to be like, okay, I can take what you say and I can either apply it or not apply it. That's my choice. So yes, he had that choice to say, no, thank you. I don't want to do that. And again, he said they had the conversation in the text messages and he thought it was over. What else is there to it after that? If you said you had that conversation, it was over, then it's like, okay, he's either taking it or he's not taking it. Or maybe we'll just table this conversation for right now and get back to it. That's how I took it. But again, for the niece to just put that on him and be like, it was the cutting of the hair that just took it all to the form. It's like, no, I'm not going to do that. No.
Yeah, she's just hurt, like I said.
And something else that he said in that video, he said you can grow it back once you get established, you know? So that's another reason why I felt like Rickey wasn't just saying, oh, cut it, you know, it looks bad, but he's saying that's his name on the line. I don't know if it's just being selfish or, you know, just, it goes back to you get one time to make a first impression. You know what I'm saying? So I guess he's saying, I don't want people to be like, oh, that's Rickey Smiley's son. Oh, he just said, oh, I'm sorry, nephew. You know what I'm saying? You send this boy all the way down from Alabama here looking like that. You know what I'm saying? I know it's not right, but if that's his mindset, then.
Yeah.
Again, this has nothing to do with his intelligence, just what's on top of his head. Let's just remember that.
Exactly. And I mean, and like I said before, we don't know what his education is or whatever, but you know, because it's like, we don't know if he only just had a high school diploma and then got kicked out of Rickey Smiley's house. Like I said before, I just think that he just went about it the wrong way to tell this man, kind of like how y'all said before, that old mentality that you got to do as I say. And I don't know how old he is now. I think Rickey mentioned he's like he was in his 30s or whatever. Like, dude, you can't tell another black man that he's not going to be successful in this generation because right now because I have a scruffy beard. Like what? you know? Yeah. I mean, I do understand what he was trying to say, but it's just the way you say things to people. Of course, like him, obviously he had a lot of mental issues between this time that he was put out the house and on his own and stuff like that. It's just like he totally could have used that opportunity to like Dashia said, use his pro-blackness to give him an alternative to let him know that hey, you can still have your dreads, but I'll even take you to a hairdresser, to the top of the line hairdresser, so you can like twist it up, get a little retwist. My brother got dreads and he got a career right now. Like dreads all the way down, pretty much to his feet.
If I'm telling you like, okay, your job is here, because I think it was in Miami, right? You have to go down here and you're gonna be representing me. But this job should be guaranteed for you. Let's go over some of these stuff. If I'm a head of whatever type of company, I don't want my kids showing up in basketball shorts and a tank top and just thinking like, oh yeah, I got it because
you can guarantee
you can have the brains and the smarts, but it's like, sweetheart, you still gotta dress the part. You still gotta look presentable.
I do not want to equate somebody's hair with basketball shorts or things that are not really a part of who you are. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I just don't want to, because it's not the same. It's not. Because if I of course I can't walk into an interview with coochie cutters on, right? Yeah. So coochie cutters are not a part of my identity. That does not say, ooh, that's Dashia. But if me now being natural and you see my hair, that's a part of me. That's a journey that somebody has to go on with their hair. That's a lot different than telling somebody, all right, you need to be in a suit and tie and blah, blah, blah. I don't know.
Yeah. And I don't know, maybe, I don't know. I don't see it like that. For me, it's just hair, And maybe it's because I've cut my hair before and I don't mind cutting it. Mm-hmm. It's just like, it's just hair. Like, I know what you're saying. That's just because, like most black people, if this is what you want to do, don't tell me it's bad. Because like you said, Trey, your brother got dreads and he's successful, but, and again, it's just me personally, I would have cut it, like, I know Dashia saying, like, you don't want to conform and just, whitewash society and making me feel bad for having dreads or making me think because I have dreads I'm a bad person or because I can't go to this job because dreads equate with bad, and it doesn't. But at the same time.
No, clearly it does. Clearly it does because that was the whole, that's why we're here.
Mm-hmm. Well, no, I mean, the only I was really going to say about that is maybe it's, obviously, again, he decided to commit suicide. So like you said, he had a lot of internal issues that was going on for a long time. So maybe it's however Rickey told him kind of triggered that to make him feel like he's not enough. He can't be successful in the world. And that can mentally like fuck with somebody. Not saying that it's Rickey's fault whatsoever, but like, again, he obviously has a lot of inner trauma that probably the way Rickey presented to him, because it's all about delivering the way you say things to people. So it's like, so if you say something to a black man who's already been kind of going through a lot, being homeless, not having all of this, like, and tell him he's not gonna be successful, he don't cut his hair, like that mentally could fuck with somebody, But I mean, like there has to be some internal turning point or internal wrap up, as I used to say. That kind of like, you have to realize within yourself that, if I want to be successful and go into a professional world as a black man where most people aren't really accepting me if I don't have a college degree or whatever the case is, I need to have some type of alternative, whether that be, knowing how to, having the experience or knowing how to talk to people or know how to carry myself. So that could have been a better presentation where he could have presented to him, not just saying, well, you're not going to be successful, you got dreads.
We'll post a link to the video in the description box because we truly want to know how you feel about this whole situation. Join us every Monday.
Comment.
Subscribe.